November 6, 2025, a letter arrived at the US Embassy in Abuja. It is from Nnamdi Kanu, the imprisoned leader of the indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB). But this isn't just any letter. This is a masterclass in political timing, moral clarity, and strategic appeal. In just a few thousand words, Kanu has done something the Nigerian government hoped would never happen. Kanu handed international credibility and documentary evidence of mass killings directly to the most powerful man in America, a man who has already declared he is prepared to act militarily against Nigeria if the killings of Christians in Nigeria continue. This letter from Nnamdi Kanu to Donald Trump might just be the catalyst that will break up Nigeria and deliver the state of Biafra on a platter of gold. For 4 years, Nnamdi Kanu has sat in solitary detention at the Department of State Service DSS facility in Abuja. A 2022 Court of Appeal judgment discharged and acquitted him. The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention deemed his detention unlawful and politically motivated. Court orders for his release have been ignored. He is facing charges of treason in trials that many observers describe as politically motivated. But on November 6, Aloy Ejimako, Kanu sent a 4-page open letter directly to President Donald Trump, and it changes everything. The detained IPOB leader didn't beg, he didn't plead. Instead, he provided something far more powerful: irrefutable documentation of what he described as a systematic genocide against Judeo-Christians in southeastern Nigeria. In Nnamdi Kanu was, in quotes, "Your bold declaration on October 31st, 2025 that the United States is prepared to act militarily and cut aid if Nigeria fails to protect its Christian population has ignited hope in the heart of millions who have been abandoned by the world." Kanu then proceeded to detail with surgical precision exactly where the Nigerian government has failed and where American military and economic intervention might work. Kanu's central claim is devastating. The genocide is not confined to the north. It has metastasized into the Igbo heartland. Kanu later revealed something far more politically explosive. The same Boko Haram operating in the north are now operating in the south. And in the southeast, there is an additional perpetrator. According to Nnamdi Kanu, the Nigerian military is complicit in the insecurity and killings going on in the southeast. Kanu went ahead to document specific incidents, each with corroborating evidence from Amnesty International, the United Nations, and local human rights organizations. The documented atrocities, according to Nnamdi Kanu: the Mpo Biafra Heroes Day Massacre, May 30, 2016; the National High School Aba Massacre, February 9, 2016; Operation Python Dance 2, September 2017; the January 20, 2017 Port Harcourt Trump Rally Massacre; the Obibo Massacre, October 2020. According to Nnamdi Kanu, this is a Rwanda playbook: create chaos, blame the victim, justify extermination. Kanu is not only asking the United States government to investigate the case of extrajudicial killing in the southeast, he's equally asking them to declare the state of Biafra, grant the people of Igbo self-referendum. The timing of Nnamdi Kanu letter is extraordinary because it arrived precisely when the US Congress is already investigating the case of genocide in Nigeria. Trump has personally directed Congressman Riley Moore to investigate the killing and report back. Riley Moore is leading a House investigation alongside House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Tom Cole. Nnamdi Kanu letter is arriving at the Congress precisely when the Congress is already looking for the smoking gun. His documentation, corroborated by international organizations, give them exactly what they need against Nigeria. Kanu letter contains specific incidents, documented perpetrators, survivor testimonies, mass grave locations, military log. This transformed the debate from abstract accusations to concrete evidence. Trump has already said he will act. He has declared Nigeria a country of particular concern. He followed this up by directing Republican lawmakers, including Riley Moore, to investigate and report back. This is not Trump making empty rhetoric. This is Trump mobilizing the apparatus of federal investigation. And now Kanu's letter has handed this apparatus exactly what it needs to act. So here is where it becomes more interesting and very bad for Nigeria. In Kanu letter, Kanu asked Trump for something specific, an internationally supervised referendum on self-determination for the Igbo people. He described this as the only peaceful path to ending this cycle of violence. Now, skeptics might ask, why would the US support breaking up Nigeria? The answer lies in understanding American geopolitical politics. The oil wealth of Nigeria is concentrated in the eastern region. The place you call the South-South is primarily the eastern region. The crude oil reserve, natural gas deposits, and other mineral resources in the former Biafran eastern region will give the United States direct access to energy resources, not through Nigeria's centralized government, but through a smaller, more manageable state. An independent Biafra will be far more dependent on Western partnership and far more amenable to favorable trade agreements. China has invested heavily in Nigeria. Russia has been expanding its footprint in Africa. An independent Biafra will likely turn to the US and Europe for security guarantees and economic partnership, reducing Chinese and the Russian leverage. If Kanu is right about systemic persecution, then supporting self-determination becomes a moral position. It is not about breaking up Nigeria. It is about protecting Christians and minorities. This argument plays perfectly to Trump coalition. Evangelical Christians who are increasingly focused on global religious persecution. A divided Nigeria is a weaker Nigeria. It is also more dependent on American protection. A Biafran state that feels threatened by a hostile Nigeria will need US military support, bases, and strategic partnership. This gives America extraordinary leverage in African geopolitics. If America supports Biafra's self-determination, it sends a message to other separatist movements and minorities. The US stand with persecuted people. This enhances American soft power and moral authority globally, particularly among Christian and minority populations. Let's even be direct. Whoever controls the eastern region oil resources has enormous power. Currently, that's Nigeria's centralized government, which has shown its willingness to ignore court orders, brutalize Christian minorities, form alliance with Islamic forces. An independent Biafra with American backing will be far more reliable, far more democratic, and far more favorable to Western economic interests. In the heat of all of this, Trump allies are pushing him seriously to divide Nigeria between the Christian South and the Muslim North. Nnamdi Kanu letter to Donald Trump might just be the puzzle that will put an end to this entity called Nigeria. The most interesting aspect is that not only Trump allies are pushing for the division of Nigeria. There are millions of Nigerians, particularly in the southeastern part of the country, who have long dreamed of Biafran independence. The Biafra War, 1967 to 1970, killed an estimated 2 to 3 million people, and the region has never fully recovered economically or psychologically. And there are many reasons why they will want Nigeria to divide. There are many reasons why they will want to have their Biafra. Number one, the Southeast feels economically abandoned by the federal government. Independence will mean control over local resources. If Kanu allegations are true, and Amnesty International, the UN, and the local human rights groups suggest they are, then Christian Igbos genuinely feel their survival is at stake. Number 3, the Southeast rarely produce the president. Power is concentrated in the North and the West. For many Igbos, independence seems more promising than fighting for a share of power in a centralized state. Kanu's proposal is brilliant. An internationally supervised referendum. This will allow the Igbo people to vote on self-determination peacefully, the international community to verify the result, American support to serve as a guarantor of the outcome, the transition to be orderly and recognized globally. If this referendum were held, and Igbo people voted for independence, the international community, particularly with American backing, will face enormous pressure to recognize Biafra. And of course, the United States will gladly adhere to all of this. The United States operate on the basis of national interest. American support for Biafra will serve American interests. Creating Biafra will grant America access to oil resources through a dependent Biafran state. This will potentially allow US military bases in the eastern region of Nigeria. Supporting persecuted Christians aligns with Trump's stated values. Supporting self-determination is presented as advancing democracy. Supporting persecuted people enhances American credibility globally. Whether you are a Nigerian, African, American, or watching from anywhere else in the world, this is a very serious time. For Easterners, this could be the moment when self-determination becomes possible without violence. For Nigerians, this raises questions about whether Nigeria can survive internal contradictions and external pressures. For Americans, this is about whether the US will use its power to promote democracy and protect minorities, or whether geopolitical interests will drive policy. For Africa, this will set a precedent for how external powers engage with internal conflict and separatist movement. For the world, this is about whether international pressure can compel government to respect human rights, or whether they will continue to deny documented atrocities. Nnamdi Kanu letter to Trump is not just another plea from a detained activist. It is a carefully constructed political argument, backed by documented evidence, delivered at precisely the right moment to an American president who has already promised to act. Combined with congressional investigations led by Ted Cruz and Riley Moore, it represents something the Nigerian government can no longer ignore or deny. The international community is watching. America is preparing to act. And the question is no longer whether Nigeria can suppress the Biafra movement, but whether the world will support its independence. I am Avalanche. I am Avalanche Media, and I bring the truth like an avalanche, fast, heavy, and unstoppable. Stay informed, stay vigilant, stay ready. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.